most of us understand proteins, understand fats, but carbohydrates, what we're trying to not reinvent the way we look at carbohydrates, but try to understand a little better. We like to divide carbohydrates in 3 types of carbohydrates. Starches, which is basically your flour and your potato and your yam and anything made with flour, okay? Whole wheat, non-whole wheat, flour is flour, okay? And those are your starches. Then you have your vegetables and legumes, and you have your fruits, okay? So let's start with the fruits. So what is that you get most out of eating fruits?
Vitamins.
Good. What else?
Fiber.
Fiber. What else?
Fructose.
Fructose. What is fructose?
Sugar.
Sugar. Now, fructose is interesting because fructose, you don't burn fructose right away. You need, again, to take the fructose to the liver, break down into glucose, put that on the bloodstream, and then burn. So to burn fructose, your body works harder, okay? So, another thing that's important about carbohydrates when we talk about, health in general is glycemic index. What is glycemic index? Is the rate that you increase the sugar in the blood. How fast does it go up when you eat something, okay? So fructose doesn't have a very high glycemic index because by the time it goes to the liver and then goes back to the blood, it slowly raises the blood sugar up, okay? But it is a simple sugar, right? So you're gonna burn, and then your body's gonna recognize that your glucose level is gonna go up, your pancreas is gonna pour a bunch of insulin in the system, and then if you just have a simple fruit, let's say an orange, okay? Or a banana for that matter, because they're very, very, very high fructose, okay? But not enough fiber there, not enough oils on those fruits, right? So your glycemic index is gonna go up, body's gonna crash that down, and all of a sudden you're dizzy and you're a little hypoglycemic. I said, okay, I need to get something more than just that, okay? Because it's very, very light. Now, we're going to talk about fibers as soon as we get to the vegetable, but that's the gist about fructose. So fructose is a good sugar, okay, in general, because it comes along with, with good things, vitamins primarily. Most of our vitamins comes from fruits, okay? So let's go to vegetables really quick. So vegetables and legumes. So what we got from vegetables?
Minerals.
Minerals, very, very important. You need the minerals to be able to function, especially for your nerves and your muscles. You've got to have the potassium, the sodium, the calcium, everything there, so you have some conductivity. Think about electricity, okay? So those comes most from vegetables and legumes. So let's separate the vegetables here, just the green leaf vegetables. You have a lot of minerals as well, right? Those minerals, especially iron from the dark leaf vegetables, especially if you're a runner, you need to keep your iron storages, up to date, because, with what we found is that with the impact, especially if you're running long distances, with the impact, you break down your hemoglobin, and you need that iron to make it back. The combination of the vegetables and the fruits are very important because you need to get your B12 and you need to get your minerals to put it all together to make blood. Okay, simple. Now, the legumes, the trick there on the legumes is that, yes, you do have quite a bit of minerals and fiber, but you also have starch in the legumes. So beans and lentils and things like that, that little pasty air apart, those are starch. Those are not simple sugars. Those are starches, okay? So now let's go to talk about starches. The problem with starch is that if you take a starch and you break it down into glucose and glucose. That's all you got. So you got sugar and sugar. Simple sugar is the sugar that your body prefers the most. That's what we call a happy meal. And McDonald's really likes that, okay? Because it raises your glucose up, and if you're like, okay, I'm not hungry anymore, that feels good, okay? And really has the highest glycemic index as starches, okay? And you know the joke, don't say it. So what's the food that has the highest glycemic index? Think about a starch that you pre-digest before you put in your mouth. You're not a fish, I know that, but popcorn. Okay, so you take that starch and you puff up with heat, so it's not destroyed, so it's just broken down, and then you put it in your mouth, it dissolves in your mouth, and you absorb that through your salivary glands straight into the bloodstream. You don't even need to get to your stomach. Okay, so the calorie amount in popcorn is very low just because it's puffed up corn, right? But it really raises your blood sugar quite fast. So if you're with somebody that's diabetic, that's not a very good fruit to have. Now, the starches in general, because it breaks down into glucose and glucose, what is that does to you, it gives you immediate energy. It's an energy that you need to burn now, the next 30 minutes, okay? So that bowl of cereal in the morning, just because you need to rush out of the house, also called baby food, because it's gonna give you energy for you to grow. So as I learned, once I stopped growing this way, I don't go this way anymore, okay? So in other words, that bowl of cereal in the morning, if depending on the quantity you have and depending on your activity in the morning, it's basically gonna sit there, it's gonna transfer that into fat.